This is Claude Fullenfo from Brisbane, and it is day 2 in my study of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm so excited to get started in this book again. It's been a few years since I first read this book, and it really changed my life. As I've been journeying through my life in the last 10, 11 years, being in network marketing, I have found that this book is referred to a lot, and I decided to read it this time in a way to study it so that I can contribute more to myself and the people that I meet. On page 1, I can relate to what Sharon Lechter says about financial literacy. I remember when I was growing up as a teenager in India, my dear mother used to push us to study hard, as she believed that studies would be the right thing for us. If we could study hard, we would get the best jobs. Now, in the 70s, most parents would put a lot of effort in helping their children get the best education. It was the same with my parents. My parents spent so much of their life earnings on educating their 7 children, giving them the very best education around. I remember my parents sending us off to boarding school and working really hard so that we could become engineers, accountants, and administrators. Yet, as I was growing up, I felt there had to be a better way. I noticed some people around us who had not gone to school and college were doing much better than my cousins who were a bit older than me, who had gone on and done their college degrees. So I started to question, but I had no answers back then because my only mentors were my great parents who were mentored by their parents who were following a book that was old-fashioned and outdated. I saw both mom and dad working very hard to just put us through school first and then college. But what really hurt me most as an 11-year-old back in India was to see my dear mom take up a job as a teacher so we could keep studying at a private school. She worked for about 15 years after that until the youngest were out of school and into college. So having a large family back then was not an easy thing for my father to bring up 7 children just on one wage. You can imagine how he must have felt. Yes, we did have the big house and a large company car with a driver on loan from the company as long as my dad worked for them. But as Sharon says in a book on page 1, my parents had to work hard to sustain the lifestyle that they provided us. They wanted to give us the best education so we could make it in the real world, and I'm really indebted to them. I remember back then my mother used to keep an accounts journal with all her daily expenses in this A-size book of hers. What's surprising is that in 2014-15, I went back to India to visit my parents because my dear father passed away and I was there for his funeral. One morning I noticed Mom was still entering entries into her journal as she still kept that strict accounting practice of the 1970s. But what is most astonishing is the fact that Mom and Dad, though they paid off their home, still found it very hard in their retirement years to get by. They always thought about money, and it was so sad because they worked so hard and yet they always thought about money. This brings me back to my story about financial literacy and the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad that I'm reading right now. Today the world is changing so fast, and we see people around us who have not gone to college and many not even to school, and yet they are successful, and some of them extremely successful. Why is this so? The way to success has changed today as compared to the 1940s and 70s. Today it's about giving value to people and contributing more to society. If you can do just that, we will be successful. Following the old principles of success will not get you the jobs you go after today. Remember, just look around at the college students around you in Brisbane. Many of them find that they can't find the jobs for their chosen career path when they finish university in Brisbane. When they leave college, they go out and live with friends, cohabitat for a few years because they just cannot afford to save up the deposit for a new home. Many of these people work at convenience stores, at petrol stations, drive taxis, and do odd jobs because the degree they studied is not getting them the jobs they want. There's a downside in the market, yet there's so much money around. The money is just in different areas. So friends, stay tuned for the next episode, which will be out shortly, about my learnings of Rich Dad Poor Dad as I go through the book by Robert Kiyosaki. This is Claude Fulenfo from Brisbane, and I hope I brought value to you today. Thank you.